Hi guys, Chamion here. I hope all is well. I'm going to do a doubles demo for you all. I'm going to keep it as easy as possible, but you guys know double, it contains a lot of stuff. Sweet mango, cucumber, grated cucumber, right? And things like that. So you all going to have to stay the course to watch. I'm not going to skip any parts, so pay close attention, right? So I have some chickpea. That is exactly a pound. I washed it. It's looking a bit weird. I don't use canned stuff. If you live in any part of the world and you want to follow this demo, you can feel free to use the canned chickpea or chana as we call it here in Trinidad and Tobago. But I'm not going to use that because I try to limit my use of canned or processed food as much as possible. So I have that pound of chana there. I have some granulated garlic and onion powder, right? Or just powder like I said, and some iodized salt to start with, and some canola oil of course. If I'm not using olive oil, I use canola oil. So I'm going to get it straight into my pot that's already boiling, my pressure cooker. It takes very long to cook, so you want to pressure it or slow cook it, okay? Take out anything that you might be seeing in it that's not, even though you wash it at times, you can miss stuff because remember I washed it in a sieve, right? So you want to pay attention to things like that. I'm not going to use all of that salt, I'm just going to use a bit of it. My preferred prepping salt is always called sea salt or kosher, but I'm using the iodized a lot these days, right? I also have some pink Himalayan salt, but I'm not using that either today. So about there in salt is where I want to go. Now I'm going to add roughly about 2 tablespoons of onion powder, granulated onion, followed by the same for the garlic, right? So in goes that, followed by the other one. The real seasoning of it is going to happen after. Like I said, you don't want to mess up any part of this demo. Watch it properly, right? You always want to put oil in your pressure cooker and your slow cooker when you're using it to cut down on sticking at the bottom of your pot, right? It's going to be pressure cooking for quite a while. It's hard cut, it's a tough thing, chana, when it's raw, and that's why a lot of people run to canned stuff because they just simply don't have the time in today's busy world to sit and wait for that to cook, right? So I'm going to give one more stir and then I'm going to cover it up and leave it to go for quite a while, right? If you want, you can slow cook it overnight in your crock pot or slow cooker as it is only in Trinidad and Tobago. Sometimes my pressure cooker gives me a bit of an issue to shut, but I'm going to bring things together now, right? Don't worry about it, right? So, still we are not there yet, so, right, you're now there. And I'm just going to leave it to go, and I'll say for about 40 minutes to an hour. I'm just going to leave it to go, I'll say for about 40 minutes to 1 hour, so keep watching, or until it is tender, really tender, until you can just press it with your hand and it's going to be soft to the touch, right? Alright, keep watching. So guys, our chickpea or chana, it's perfectly cooked. You can actually see that it's falling apart. Let me just do a spoon test. Right, you see that one was smashed, that's perfectly cooked. So I'm just going to add the things that's necessary to for it. You will need a bit of saffron or turmeric powder as it is known in the international world, right? In Trinidad here we just happen to call it saffron. I believe it's known by that name in other parts of the world too, right? So just a bit of that. A tip when you are cooking these things, you don't want it with too little water, right? Because when it gets cold, it somewhat it sticks together and it loses all its liquid, right? So leave it with just a bit of liquids, right? And now I'm going to put some cumin powder or jeera powder, followed by a teaspoon of curry powder. I am using an E Special blend of curry. Jeera is very powerful, so you don't want to put too much. About there is where I'm going to leave it. It's a very powerful, or cumin. It's ground cumin by the way. Or powder jeera as it is known here in the Caribbean, right? This is also a method that is safe to say very close to it for boiled chana, what we call boiled chana here in Trinidad. I'm going to use all this curry, right? The salt was already adjusted. I'm just going to stir. And of course, I'm going to put in some fresh seasonings in it also, which only consists of shallon belly and garlic. Nothing else, right? It's freshly done seasonings, and I reserve it for this part because remember I spoke on a previous demo about when we are pressure cooking what happens to our seasoning. It gets discolored and it just looks ridiculous, right? So this is the purpose that I reserve it for now. I don't use cooking butter and things like that when I'm cooking. I don't do it ever, and I am not going to do anything different when I come on demo. So right here is where you want to leave things. I'm just going to plate it, put it into a bowl and garnish it. Remember I say very close to this is the way I do my boiled chana. We are in Trinidad, we eat it by the cups. Right, so I'm just going to get it into our container. I'm just going to plate it. Use a ladle to go by faster. You see the brilliant color that we have? Use your ladle, it's going to help you along very quickly and you won't have any unnecessary mess and things like that. A bit of spice powder, it went on the bowl and so forth, the cumin. It smells so good, it tastes good. You can feel free to put a hot pepper in there also, if I didn't mention before. I'm just going to garnish with my finely chopped shallon belly. When I say finely chopped, I mean finely chopped, it was hand chopped. And there it is. Our chutney or chana is finished. Right? It's just waiting to be added to our doubles. So there we have it. Right? It's that simple. So keep looking as I bring the doubles together for you all. I am going to do for you all a sweet ancha masala mango. Yeah? So watch as I put this together. I don't need to pour that you need some mango. I bought the frozen ones. They are selling in the supermarket. Even for my international friends, you might faster get that because I don't think in the international part of the world you all want to be like what we do here. We get the mango green off the tree and we use something very sharp to cut it into the pieces like it is there. So it's just whole green mango, young mango, not too young, but you know, and we chop it. I have some brown sugar. We don't get packed brown sugar here in Trinidad just yet, at least not that I know of. So this is what our brown sugar looks like. It's very dry, right? There's my ancha masala and my seasoning combo, which is shallon belly and garlic, right? Garlic and shallon belly is very good for these kind of things. You don't want to use anything else really for it, right? So just watch every step as I do it quickly. I'm going to start by putting in some seasonings just to release flavor in the oil. Alright, pot is screaming hot. And now I'm going to put in a bit of my masala, my ancha masala. Right, I'm going to get it in the form of a paste. You don't want it to burn because you don't want it to get bitter. Everyone that do things differently, we will arrive at the same and I'm going to put in now my mango. You can put a pinch of salt. I will just put a pinch for the salt going to balance it out nicely, right? So I'm going to put just a pinch of iodized salt. And it's that. That's that amount. Right, now I'm going to get my mango in, followed by my sugar. It's a sweet mango, okay? These pieces are somewhat huge. Some persons will find this is a bit too big, but like I said, I got this pre-cut because I purchased it the way it is, okay? A lot of times we use this for different things here in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to add the sugar while I'm speaking. We use it in things like roti, we use the sauce and things like doubles, mostly just the sauce because doubles is somewhat small, right? I want to kind of put nice amount of sweet, so that amount. I would say that was 1.5 cups. Right? You can use granulated or white sugar if you so desire. And you want to cook it until it's very tender and nice and everything picks up all the flavors and so forth and so forth. Usually when I'm buying mango for things like these, I like to see just how this piece here looks. But you don't want all this fine because you're going to end up with it melting away during cooking. Right? Sometimes when the mango is really young, not extremely young, when it's really young and nice, the seeds are somewhat tender in it, which is also really good for this. Right? This is going to be a very dark colored mango when it's cooked. You see the color that I use in it, right? And of course, you can feel free to add a hot pepper, fresh hot pepper of your choice, be it Scorpion, Congo, 7-pod, or whatever you desire. You can also, if you live in the international part of the world, you can also put some chili flakes in there, just for a mild bit of heat balances it out pretty nice. So keep watching. This is about the only step. You want to make sure your mango is tender and your gravy is reduced. So at the texture we are at here, it's a no-no, it's too runny. Right? You will know when everything is rich and nice and somewhat combined and your mango is literally infused with all of the things, the mixture or liquid that's in the pot, right? So just keep watching as I bring it together. So guys, this is where our anchar masala mango reach. Remember, this is part of what's going in our doubles. Not the mango itself, but the sauce we will need. If you have tamarind, feel free to use that, right? So I'm just going to get it into my bowl. I'm moving over to my counter area and I'm going to just garnish it with a bit of fresh shallot and beni. Right? You know that small tree thing, right? So you want your sauce this runny and nice to get it into your doubles, right? It's just beautiful. I use probably about, I would say about quarter cup, sorry, of more than quarter cup of the ancha masala. I did not put any jeera and so forth in it or cumin. I just kept it straight up masala, right? And it's that simple. So you all keep watching as I bring this entire doubles demo to completion for you. It's that simple. It's looking just gorgeous. It's lovely. Right? So I'm getting ready to do our bara. You saw how I took which approach I went, right? Which is making all my sauces and everything needed for my doubles before I went to make the bara. Right? That is so that I'll be fully prepared and I won't have to worry about doing these things after, because these things take a bit of time, especially the chickpea. So you all saw the approach and method that I took, which was prepared as before. You can also do it like a day before and refrigerate it properly. Once you're finished cooking it, get it in a storage bowl and refrigerate it. You don't want to leave it out on your stove, right? The mango can also be frozen and used with other stuff, but I'm doing a doubles demo, so I'm keeping it on point, which is only focusing on my doubles. So watch as I bring the bara together for you. So guys, I'm getting ready to do the bara for our doubles. It is called bara here in Trinidad, right? You will need 1 pound of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon or more saffron, depending, which is also called turmeric, depending on the color that you are looking for, right? I will bring the saffron and set just now, right? So 1 teaspoon or more of saffron or turmeric, as it is known in the international world, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I already have those things lying up there. 1.5 teaspoons of active dry yeast, 1 teaspoon of salt, salt of your choice, be it kosher, sea salt, iodized or Himalayan, it's your choice, right? 2 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of oil, and well, the oil, of course, additional oil for frying. You all know time and time again I speak about once you are using yeast, you will need to use tempered water. What is tempered water? Tempered water is water that is mixed to a certain temperature. And when you are using yeast, you know it must be activated, so you need water of a certain temperature, right? So I have the saffron here, or the turmeric, the ground turmeric. You know, they get the strands of it to buy in certain parts of the world. They get the strands of it to buy, or the threads, as it is known, of saffron to buy. So I'm just going to start to sift my flour, okay? Always sift your flour. Right, so I'm just sifting until all is used up, of course. And then I'm going to start adding my dry ingredients. That's always the rules when you are making any dough or batter. Dry ingredients followed by wet ingredients, right? And then you want to incorporate your dry ingredients using a spatula or such. This is the purpose why I always sift my flour. All those clumps, and my flour is stored properly, right? So that's why I sift all the time. Certain things you can't take shortcuts with, right? And I'm just going to start by adding, the yeast don't need activation for this. I'm going to start by adding my yeast, followed by my baking powder. Remember, everything was measured, right? I just have them on my ceramic tasting spoons, followed by my sugar, a couple turns on my grinder of salt, Stonewall Kitchen brand's sea salt from Maine Sea Salt, right? That's all it is. That's a couple turns. I'm gonna put in some of the turmeric, or saffron as it is known. Some persons will not even use it in their doubles, but to me, I love to see the barra somewhat yellow, vibrant yellow. That's just me. It isn't, if you don't want it, well, you don't have to, but there are a lot of health benefits with turmeric or saffron, right? You can check it out yourself if you have some time, or when you have some time, right? Of course, you won't see it turning color at this stage, because when the water hits, then you'll realize it's starting to get yellow. So you don't want to overdo it at this stage, because it's a good bit, and I can tell you that it goes a little goes a long way with saffron or turmeric. I can't tell you that from experience, right? And only when I make my well and I add my water, then I'll throw in. It's supposed to be 2 cups of water, like I said, right? I'm just going to somewhat watch to see what I'm having, right? You know, I'll use it 2 cups, and I'll just for demonstration purposes. Let's just make sure we are accurate on it. So I'm going to use the 2 cups, right? I just need for demonstration purposes for us to see, because I don't want you all trying it and next thing something goes wrong, right? And I'm going to hold off on adding all of it at once, the entire 2 cups. You all know how I feel about that, right? Oil and water, they don't ever mix, so no matter how much you stir it, it won't mix, right? So you see why I said don't go too bold with your saffron in the initial stages. You see how the flour was looking so deceivingly white, but yet it is yellow as the water hits. I tell you all the time, I don't come on here to kid you all. So a bit of deception going on there with our saffron. Because it was in the flour, of course, so it was a bit, you know, I did not use the entire 2 cups, but this is a dough that you want just as it is looking here, right? I did not use the entire 2 cups, but this is how you want this. And as we progress, I'm going to show you guys the rest of what you need to do. So you're gonna have to leave it here to rest for, I'll say, about 25 minutes, right? Because remember, it contains yeast, so we need it to get some time to chill out and relax and go to double, you know, in volume, so to speak. I'm going to use a new steam cap. You all heard me speak time and time again on this. I purchased them in ridiculous amounts so that every time I'm baking, regardless of the size of the bowl, or I'm making batter, I make sure it's a new one. We call it a conditioning cap here in Trinidad, right? Make sure it's new, make sure it's not printed, and make sure it's just like this clear, and you want to use it to cover your bowl. I'm just going to spritz with a little bit of oil on my barrel, okay, on my dough, right? So I'm going to leave it right there to just relax. So now I'm going to cover it, and you don't want to mess with it at all. I'm going to show you all the final steps that I'm going to take with it. Of course, I'll show you, right? So just keep watching. So guys, our barra dough, it's been resting, right? It's perfect, texture is perfect, which is what I wanted. I have one already inside the palm of my hand, right? This is the consistency we have. Of course, I'm going to show you guys what to do. This is what you want to have, right? I have a pot going with oil, right? And I'm going to get it into my pot now. You don't want it too high, okay? I'm going to do it over for you guys to see. I'm going to show method of barra, right? You don't want this dough dry at all. You want it in a way that it's, you know, it's nice. Some persons do at the back of their hand. Of course, your hand is going to be a sticky mess of barra, but some of you won't mind that at all, right? Once you're able to make your own doubles. I don't know if I said at the start of the demo that this was requested. Yes, it is a requested demo from someone that lives all the way in the United States of America. I have a lot of Trini supporters that live overseas that support me. I love all equally, including my locals, right? You all see what I'm doing? This is how the barra gets its shape, right? If you're noticing it's tearing a bit, just simply cover it up. The dough is so soft and nice that you cover it up. You can use less turmeric or saffron powder as we know it here. You don't have to get it as bright yellow as my own is, but I love to see barra yellow, right? Bright yellow. I'm going straight over to my pot. As it gets in, you have to turn it immediately. You cannot spend any time whatsoever in the oil, right? And onto some parchment paper. It cannot stay in the oil whatsoever. You'll be defeating the purpose of it. It's supposed to be soft and nice, right? And try and get it as thin as you can. As thin as possible. Like I said, your hand is going to be a sticky mess with barra. Right? If you are noticing holes, you just simply take your some persons do it at the back of their hand like this also. You can feel free to add some more oil to your hand. Remember, I always wear food safe gloves, right? But try and get it thin, and if even it's doing that, you just simply work it to soup, because remember, it's so nice and airy, the dough, right? Remember what we have, remember all that I said, all the tips that I'm giving. You see how it's behaving? It can't spend any amount of time in the oil. As it goes in, it needs to be taken out. It needs to be turned and removed. Right? Let me just do over this one. Of course, it's so nice and soft, I can't explain it for you guys. And you want to put oil on your hands. Whichever side of your hands you are using, use oil. I can't, my hand is a mess, literally. Right? My hand is a mess. Don't take too much of a big clump at once. My hand is just an oily mess and barra mess. I won't say I love it. I don't love food and I don't like fried foods. But I know some of you are going to be in your element with this demo. I know. Even today it was requested again, so it was requested twice. The person didn't know I was actually doing it today when they requested it. A next person that lives in a next state in the United States of America. A next Trinidadian. That's what I should have said, right? We are going into the oil to fry. Try to get it as circular as possible, right? You will see the technique I'm using to press it and so forth. If you are seeing holes, you just want to gently take, like you are seeing holes there, just gently take your hands and close it up because it is that soft, right? So of course this one, we see what's going on there because it's so soft and nice, right? It won't take any time, it needs to come out immediately. It's already cooked. You see how it's smashing up in there? Yeah. That's what you want. As it hits the oil, it's cooked. As it hits the oil, it's cooked. And we keep repeating. So I'm going to oil my hand properly because of course you'll need to get one that's perfect before I shut down a tool because I have to do presentation of the product, right? I'm not going to roll these as big. What I'll do is just make sure the middle part of things are somewhat flat for us. And then sometimes you see doubles that are smaller and things like that and whatnot, right? So forth and so forth, right? So about here is where I leave this one. You see how it transferred much easier because my hand is full of oil this time around. And these foods, when you see how much oil it's frying in oil and before it hits the pot, your hand have to be an oily mess. So you see, when you like these foods and you start making them, you get a greater understanding of how it's prepared, and then you don't like it as much because you say, wow, I can't cope with that much oil in my system. And some persons eat triples. Yes, that's a thing in Trinidad. Triple barra are the doubles vendors, right? Triple barra. Some persons eat triple and some persons will eat about 6 doubles and going higher. So now when you see prepared, you still don't, I'm sure you don't want to have 6 anymore. I'm sure about it. I'm just going to make sure I get 2 more pieces because I want to put together. Remember I said don't leave it in the oil at all, right? Expect everything to be an oily mess. You see how it's behaving once the oil hits it on my hand? This is what you want, right? I'm just going to get it into the oil at this point. Right? That one is somewhat smaller. And sometimes even when we buy it, we will notice that it has holes in it. You see why it has holes in it? Because they can't leave it for any period of time in the oil. As it hits the oil, they have to remove it. You can imagine the amount of work these people that make these things have to do. But you want it smaller, you don't want it big, you don't want it thick, bulky. Right? That's the idea of it. Back to your oil again. I could imagine how some of you feel about doubles now. Telling yourself, wow, I wouldn't eat 6 and 10 and 10 anymore. I'm just done after I see this. Right? Some of you are making yourself literal promises. I'm just done. I didn't know that's how they make it. I'm done. That's what some of you are thinking, right? We see how that goes when you reach by the doubles vendors. If you are going to go even, you know, some of you are thinking, I'm not going to buy doubles anymore. Are you kidding me? Right? You see how it's just going all over the place? So in a case like this, you just simply start over. You all know I tell you all about these things all the time. You don't decide, okay, it's no good and you just get frustrated. No, you stay and you work, right? So about here is where we want to get it into our oil. If it's somewhat a bit messed up, you will think you just move the suit on, right? Right? I'm going to use a different device because I'm noticing the tongs, it's ripping it. So you need like a spatula to deal with this. Don't use a tongs. You see the barra is that delicate that the tongs, it's pulling on it and it's a bit too harsh for it. Right? So I'm going to show you guys which device you need to use. You all see how I demonstrate and I move quickly and so forth. We need to use this. The tongue just, it's too harsh for that. It's not behaving properly, the tongues. It's for something else, but not that. You'll see how much ridiculous amount of oil I'm using, right? Because it's a soft dough, and we don't need no excess flour on it, right? I'm just trying to get enough pieces, 2 perfect pieces, to put a double. I won't be doing any triples, no please, right? And I'm going to get it into the pot at this stage here. Remember I said if you are seeing holes, what to do, right? Just adjust it to suit. If you are seeing holes, just adjust it to suit. And sometimes, like I said, even when we are purchasing it, we will notice holes, right? So I'm going to get it straight into the pot. And we are going to use this device, which is a lot better for it. You see that I got no pulling? That tongs was just way too harsh for us. Let's fry that quickly. Let's fry that quickly. Right, I'm going to do it a bit thinner, right? More oil. I have the oil, the canola oil in my squeeze bottle. You all know I have those of you that watch my demos a lot, you know I have the Rachel extra virgin olive oil bottle, that's reserved for olive oil. And then I am using a regular squeeze bottle to keep my canola oil in, right? Of course, if you want to buy more than one Rachel bottle, by all means, do that. Right, you all see what I'm doing, right? We are just going to go into our hot oil at this stage. Get it as thin as you can, right? Remember, you don't need any coloring, any color and so forth. Cooks immediately. Like seriously, no joke, all joke aside. So I'm gonna do just 2 more. It's so soft and nice, it's ridiculous. Well, you all saw how the oil, how it's behaving, right? I know you all saw. Right? So this is about I'm gonna do 1 more after this, just for you all to see. You all could play, go back and play and so forth to follow with what I'm doing. That's the good thing about it being on demo. You all could watch how much times you want until you get a hang of what I'm doing, okay? And it's just shrinking back up. So I'm just going to wrap it again. Watch what I'm doing. Realize I'm not getting frustrated. It's in real time that I'm doing this. I'm not screaming, I'm not yelling, I'm not hollering. I'm just very patient with my barra. Very patient, extremely patient with my barra. Very gentle with my barra. No big fuss. And I'm going to get it into the oil. And it's cooked. It's already cooked. Drain your excess oil, and I can get ready now to play. I'm gonna do just 1 more. Remember I said I was gonna do 1 more, right? And then I'm getting ready to shut this down. It's a lot of work, but you know, those of you that are creative and you want to try stuff, and sometimes you might not be able to go out and get it, you have it here to watch. Right? See what I'm doing? Remember I said some persons will also use the back of their hands, right, to do the same technique and method. But you want your dough like this, your doubles dough like this. I can kind of fold it on us, just a bit folded. And you see the puffing it's doing, right? It's also puffing on its own. It's not like I am doing it. So do it smaller. Make it smaller. Let's do one really extremely thin one, and I'm going to shut it down this time for you. I'm gonna put it together for you guys. Let's do one that's somewhat smaller. Just let me add some more oil to my hand. Listen, this is the way these things are made, right? So don't become alarmed. You all know how I treat with food. I love healthy cooking and so forth. So if you all see me using this amount of oil, you all can imagine the thoughts that's in my head right now, right? Because I don't like fried foods. So I'm thinking a lot of stuff as I'm doing this bar right here now. I told you all, those of you that love doubles, you all are going to have some thoughts now. Going to be like, you know, I saw it, how it's prepared, and I'm not interested. You might say, okay, just give me one. Some of you are going to control yourselves now at the vendor, the doubles vendor. When you see doubles, you won't go berserk, and you're going to just have some self-control now with doubles. Right? I know you are, yeah. Why? It curled on me. That one curled on me. Yes, it curled on me. And you are seeing it in the oil that it curled. It curled. So you want to take note of things like that. Don't get frustrated on these things. Stay the course and do what needs to be done. Let me plate a doubles for you all now. I have to plate it. I have to move on, right? So let me plate one. Let me plate a doubles for you guys. Usually it's a street food, right, in Trinidad. So it isn't served on plates. But you all know how I do stuff, right? So of course I'm going to get it onto a plate on my grease, just the way it's served in Trinidad on the paper. I'm going to do it. Right, so I'm going to put it together now for you guys. Let me just clean up a bit of mess. And I'm going to put it together this moment for you all. I have the flour on the counter. I'm just picking it up. Well, the board is a floury mess. Can't have that, so. Let's just do this for you all. And right here, I'm just organizing the filling and all that goes with the doubles, okay? I'm right here. So this is the plate that I'm going to serve it on. I have a lot of stuff. I have cucumbers. I'm going to put a bit of pepper sauce on it, right? It's usually served with a variety of peppers and filling depending on where you are purchasing it. Right, so I'm just getting it together for you guys this moment. At this very moment, I'm just organizing it for you guys. It's just beautiful. I love it. I love what I see. I don't love doubles. I love what I see. And you all remember I went through the process of doing everything on set for you guys for this demo. You all remember that? Yes, I did. You all will thank me later. Might seem like it was a lot of work. Why Chamion just didn't get straight to it with us, but no, I cannot do a doubles demo. I'm not showing you all how to do filling and think somehow that I did a good job. I can't. I'm going to hit it with a bit of pepper sauce also, right? So I had to go through a process for you guys, right? And that's exactly what I did. I don't mind at all. If you all ask me for something, if I can't do it in an excellent manner, I won't do it at all. I won't even attempt to do it. And I'm being very real. I'm just going to put a bit of the mango sauce. You all remember when I made the mango sauce? The mango, the ancha masala mango. Now I'm going to put some of my cucumbers. At least we can feel happy about one thing healthy on it. Yes, I went there. Our cucumbers that was shredded, and I did not put anything whatsoever on it. I just simply shredded in the, my food processor. Right? I'm going to put a bit of pepper sauce now. And it's that simple. Yes, it was work, but it was worth it. because the amount you are going to get when you make this home versus what you will get when you have to buy it and how much for one, it's, you know, it's better if we make it, right? It's just better if we make it. I'm just gonna put some pepper sauce on there and we are ready to shut down. And this is why Trinidadians love their doubles so much. This is why Trinidadians don't play their doubles. See how gorgeous it looks? This is why they don't play with their doubles. Not me, I don't love doubles. But you see how gorgeous it is? It's just a beautiful sight. Truly it is. Guys, the pleasure as always. It's my own. You all know the business is all over social media. You all know we are on Instagram. You all know we are on Facebook. And of course the YouTube channel here, all under one name, Food by Chamion. There's an email address for the business if you want to come in direct contact with me, which is foodbychamion, CHAMION @gmail.com. Guys, until I'm with you all, bye and thanks for watching.